Hey, buddy.
Part two it.
We're back.
Alright.
So what else? What else is going on? What do we got?
We didn't really talk at all about the Corey Jamie trip.
Yeah, we didn't.
The last podcast, not the episode we just did, but the last time we got in this room that wasn't this time, you were tracking Corey and Jamie's flights from Chicago to Tennessee on their way to Tejas.
Mm-hmm.
That was after some delays.
A little bit.
Yeah. But they got here and I think had a fabulous time.
I think so.
The Bat Boat tour that everybody was so excited about. I think I might have got COVID on that tour.
What's hilarious is, like, when we were on that tour, you and Ash were, like, up front in the boat, and then, like, me, Corey, Jamie, and Jer were all kind of in the back, just due to seating. And Corey and I were just joking back and forth a lot while we were back there. And I think he said something came up. We were talking about, like, don't mess with the bats. And then I commented, like, well, if any one of us is going to mess with the bat, it's definitely going to be Nathan, because he likes to mess with wildlife.
Yeah.
And then at some other point, I was like, Corey said doing something with a bat, and I was like, don't do that. That's how you get COVID.
Nice.
And then you got COVID, and I remember you were in a bad place when I was chatting with Ash, and I told her that, and she was like, definitely not going to bring it up to him now, but I'm definitely feels better. I want to bring it up to him and tell him that you,
nice.
You think that the bats gave you COVID. But yeah, honestly, that boat tour I could have done without it.
Yeah. Could have done a shorter version. Like, the bats, it wasn't like peak bat season.
No.
You could see them, like, moving around the bridge, but it wasn't like I was picturing something like in the fall with the sparrows, the little birds that are under the bridge that come out and make, like, the cool, massive, like, bird tunnels in the sky.
Yeah.
I was picturing something like that, and it wasn't anything like that.
No.
The best part was getting here's the Austin history, check out the skyline, check out our awesome water situation. But that all could have been done in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea how long it was actually supposed to be until I was on the boat. I was like, oh man, this is going to be rough.
Yeah, we had to sit there for a while before we took off.
And it wasn't the most comfortable of boat situations ever, because it was just like a bunch of like super cheap plastic lawn chairs just set out on a deck.
Yeah, the last time I was on a boat cruise, it was one of the other boats that was like a 2-tier thing where you could like walk around and shit. That's what I was picturing.
And the whole time I was on it, I just kept thinking back to when Jared and I went to Chicago and did the Architecture Riverboat cruise.
Uh-huh.
And that was like 1,500 times better than the Austin boat.
Yeah, the Seattle one we did together was better.
Yeah.
We've done some boat cruises.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, still, we were hanging out with Jamie and Corey, so it was fun.
Didn't get rained on.
And what else we do? Took him to Home Slice.
Very grateful we got to do that. That was where I got to start hanging out with Corey. Talking about like fantasy basketball and fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
They had like some neighbor or somebody dog sitting, cat sitting. That was a whole the whole thing. That was fun.
Oh yeah, like they had a young kid doing it.
Yeah. But I'm so glad that we got that pizza.
Yeah. And then we went from there and
back to the car on 6th Street.
Walked up and down 6th Street a little just to let Jamie check it out.
Got some Voodoo Donuts.
That place had really good air conditioning. I didn't get any donuts, but I went inside and that air conditioning hit. Because that was one of those real humid, sticky hot nights.
Mm-hmm.
It was not great. But yeah, I mean, by that point it was like midnight or something, or close to it.
Close to, yeah.
And Corey and Jamie, they were troopers because they'd been up for like almost 24 hours with like a couple hour nap that they took, I think, when they got to their hotel.
Yeah. Power nap.
So then they went home. They went to the hotel and crashed. And when we came home, I stayed up way later than I should have.
That was the latest I've stayed up in a while. Like, I thought we'd all be in our beds at midnight and we were still, like, out.
Yeah, same. Going into the evening, I thought we were going to be definitely back, like, at the house by, like, 10.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not the case. But, whatever.
Yeah. I think the coup de grace of the entire visit was the Franklin barbecue.
It's just so good. Like, and it's also so fun to share it with, like, people who've never had it before.
Yeah.
You get to watch them experience it. Like, I watch a ton of YouTube videos of, like, people trying Franklin barbecue for the first time and just watching their reactions, because I'll never forget my first reaction whenever I had it for the first time. And even every single time, I guess I've only had it maybe now, like, maybe this was the fourth time? Third, fourth at the max.
Yeah.
Maybe third. Because I think I can only clearly recall, like, doing the waiting in line thing maybe twice.
Yeah.
There could have been a third time that I'm not thinking about.
Might be some other barbecue place you're thinking of, though.
No, because, I mean, Franklin's very specific. Like, I can picture, like, every bit around the building and the line.
Mm-hmm.
And we've also never had to wait that long in line at any other barbecue places, like in the Lockhart barbecue places. And
Salt Lake, we sat around, but we weren't in line.
right.
But it's, I don't know if it's a post-COVID thing or just that day or what, but the line wasn't terrible at all when we got there at like 10:30. And the picking up process is pretty, with two people, it's very, very easy. Because I went down there with Jer and just parked, and he got out, and they don't just hand you a bag because they've got to like slice it fresh and all that. But it wasn't that long at all. It was maybe 15 minutes. And just drove around the block once and then parked like inside of Jer.
Inside of Jer?
Inside of Jer.
Oh, inside. Sight.
Yeah.
It's like, that's uncomfortable.
Right up his. So that was super convenient. And then dropped off Jer and the food, picked up Ash, back to the house, and then honored to slice the brisket.
Yeah.
But also very humbling to just the chasm between like all the briskets I do and the smell, the touch, and obviously the taste of that brisket.
It's just the uniformity of the bark. Like, it looked like something out of like a video game. Like, it was just perfect.
It was so moist that as I'm like carefully unwrapping it out of the paper, I assume it's gonna stick to the paper. Somehow it doesn't. Magically doesn't.
That I want to eat barbecue every single day. That barbecue specifically.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it wasn't cheap either. We spent a lot of money on that barbecue.
Yeah, I think anybody that knows how much, like, sitting in line that brisket costs. I have a picture of, like, the whole spread.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, it adds up.
Like, multiple hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. But
it was worth it. I mean,
definitely
we had food for days. I had
Yeah.
food for days. And
like you said, Corey and Jamie loved it, and that was huge.
that was very important. And then, yeah, otherwise that day we were just all like having the meat sweats and in food comas and just played a bunch of video games. And
I brought over, we did play a bunch of video games, that was fun. I brought over coffee, Bailey's, and used your peanut butter whiskey. But that's a drink that I make whenever it's not a espresso martini,
right.
but it does give you a jolt. And I was sharing that with Corey. Corey was like, yeah.
Their time here definitely went by too fast.
Yeah. Need another beach house situation.
Yeah. I mean, heck, I wouldn't even mind going up there and visiting them up there.
Yeah, we should definitely plan for that.
Or at least, like, somewhere in their, like, general vicinity. Like, Minneapolis isn't that far from where they're at. I mean,
Never been there.
Chicago isn't that. I mean, it's kind of far, but let me see. I mean, I think Minneapolis is, like, maybe a 3-hour drive from where they're at. Which, that's okay. Let's see.
When they said there was another, or like their famous barbecue place was outside town, I was like, all right, we can build a trip around that.
Oh yeah, Jamie was saying they had like someone who's like kind of famous.
Look at that.
Barbecue famous.
What's that north south?
The road?
Yeah.
I-35.
Funny.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you just get on 35, head north, it'll take you into the middle of Minneapolis.
It's like 10 will take you from California to Florida.
Right. So 3.5 hour drive for them to Minneapolis. What about Milwaukee? It's probably 4 hours.
Dang.
So then I guess Chicago's probably about 4 hours too.
But that's okay, Kelly, because I've heard from, high-ranking
5 hours.
used to be president characters that Milwaukee is a terrible place.
Alright, enough of that. So it looks like I-35 ends in Duluth, maybe?
Duluth Trading Company.
On the edge of Lake Superior, on the tip of it.
Oh, that's nice. It goes through Austin and San Antonio and ends Laredo.
Yep. Laredo to Duluth.
Let's go.
That's pretty interesting. I love map stuff. Get excited. Yeah, Corey, Jamie are awesome. Miss them a bunch. But I love how they're like people that like we can go a long time and just like immediately there's no skip and like no awkwardness for like not having seen each other for a while. Just like immediately. Just get a hug and then it's back in action.
Yeah. My one regret, at some point I mentioned that we were watching the Full Court Press documentary.
Yeah.
And I forget if it was just one episode or if we were 2 episodes out of 4 at that point. But Caitlin Clark being Caitlin Clark, which especially in comparison to Kiki and Cardozo, less endearing.
For sure.
And obviously, Jamie specifically was like, hey, it's Caitlin Clark. But that transitions us into, we finished Full Court Press.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. I agree with everybody saying like women's sports and WNBA is like having a moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully sustained into our future. Ash and I have been watching more WNBA than ever before. The Caitlin Clark games, which a lot of people are, if you look it up, like that's probably the headline story is like every game that Caitlin Clark plays in is like record setting for attendance and viewership. But I think that whole rookie class by the end of the year will be taking everything over. It's very tragic. Cameron Brink, like the number 2 pick, was going to set a record for blocks by a rookie. I think tore her ACL, something that she's out for the season. And she was going to be on the 3-on-3 Olympic basketball team. So that sucks that she's not going to be able to do those things anymore. but she was going to set that record. Angel Reese is already set a record for consecutive double-doubles. She's on the same team as Camila Cardoso, who won with South Carolina like that. I think she was the star of the Full Court Press documentary.
Agreed.
Especially with her family situation. And then Caitlin Clark, these last I think they're on a 7-game win streak, but pick number 1 by the Fever. If you're picking number 1, you don't have a good situation going on.
Right.
But I think they decided to let her cook and kind of play like she played at Iowa, where if she's at half court but open, just shoot it. Which, and when you're playing with people that have been playing years longer than you, I get that orthodox, the correct thing is to pass. But if you want to get the most out of Caitlin Clark, just let her be herself. Then that's what you do. And apparently it's been reaping dividends because they've been winning not by 1 or 2 points, but 10 or 12 points.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I thought the funniest thing at the end of the documentary was, it's all over. Credits start to roll. Directed by whoever. Produced by Peyton Manning, Caitlin Clark. I've been saying the whole time, she's just like him. And to just have that in freeze frame of there is something going on here. However many years ago they did a cheek swab of Peyton Manning and made a Caitlin Clark because they are so much alike, and I was 0% shocked and very tickled that all of how old could she possibly be, 22, 23 max, just a producer of Peyton Manning.
I mean, I knew going into it was produced by Manning and Caitlin.
I didn't. But that's cool. And definitely, we've been watching a lot of WNBA.
Yeah, Jer puts it on pretty much every night now. Or if there's a game on, we'll be watching it.
Through, well, I don't know if I want to call you out on this. But are you doing it through the ESPN app or in-app?
Their league pass.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're legit paying for it.
You got to get those stats, is why.
Yeah.
We've been, I got 3 more things. NBA Finals.
Yep, the NBA Finals have now come and gone.
This will be a short recap because Mavericks got entirely outmatched.
That was pretty great.
Just seeing how Kyrie and Doncic together could put up 60, 70 points.
Mm-hmm.
And that they beat the Timberwolves, who were the best defense. I was okay, this is great, because whenever you have unstoppable force, immovable object, that happens all the time. Can the really good offense be good enough to get over the really good defense? And I thought the Mavs check that box of, yeah, here's a really good defense. This offense is better. And that just is not how that played out at all. Made me look silly. Because the Celtics just out everything them on every front, every statistic. They looked way more like a team.
Yeah. Than
the Mavs did. Just the passing and all that. But then also their individual players. Their defense was so great. It was a the Mavs and a lot of high offense teams just put up a lot of shots and you get half or a third of them, and that amounts to some huge amount of points. But the Celtics were maybe they weren't putting up as many shots, but they weren't making 30, 50%. They were making 75, 85% of everything that they tried. And everything that they tried, a good portion of that was threes, which we know from Houston and Golden State that that can become something that's hard to overcome quickly if you just have a team that's making every three.
Right.
But then also in the paint and also in that mid-range, not shooting it from there, but starting a layup from there and flying through the air, just super athleticism. It was just a no contest. And I did not see that coming just because of how, again, that experiment had already been done, and the Mavs came out ahead by a lot, and just could not do that to the Celtics.
It's just funny too, because the entire season, the Celtics were so good that everybody just wrote them off as something not even to talk about because they were expected to win the East. They were expected to win the whole thing, but there was like no drama there. They were just good, so they didn't get really any love. And I think that's why they dominated like they did. Is the Celtics are full of like superstars that like don't act like superstars.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Which is the greatest thing you could ever have on a team because that just everybody legitimately with just the goal of wanting to win. Mm-hmm. And they don't care about personal stats or anything. And I guess it's getting easier in the NBA just because like all these players are getting paid so much money and it's all guaranteed money too. Like $50 million a year kind of money. Like role players getting like $20 million a year.
Yeah.
Like it's wild. So just the way they're able to handle it all and just still be just a team trying to win and not caring. And Jay Tatum and
Bruce Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
Is it Jaylen Brown?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking of a different person.
Yeah.
If they keep that team together, I'll definitely watch it next year.
I mean, they're pretty much their whole team's coming back next year for sure. So they're pretty much a lock to go to the finals again.
They've got everything you want, like up to and including grit.
Yeah.
Where that Derek White getting his face.
Oh, his teeth just smashed.
He didn't have to keep playing. He could have just sat out. He was like, no, I got this.
And their coach, Joe Mazzulla, young coach. He's like the youngest coach to win an NBA Finals since the 60s or something.
Nice.
He's going to be a stud for years to come. And it all really sucks because, like, I hate the Celtics generally as a whole. Like, they're one of those few sports franchises that I just hate and just like to hate them. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to hate this team when you look at the individuals that make it up. I still find a way, but it's hard.
You know who you can't hate? Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was the end of it all. Like ending, was that the half or just the first quarter?
I think it was the half.
It was all over after that. And like we say this about like Taylor Swift fans, like constantly eating, like they get everything they want, and that's got to be like one of the highest highs, is your dude shooting a 3 from half court, full confidence in himself, nails it, and just came in for that play, just came in to do that. That's great.
Yeah. So, new NBA champ. Definitely, it's going to be an interesting offseason. The draft's coming up. Bronny's going to get drafted, go somewhere. LeBron might leave the Lakers. Lakers just got J.J. Redick as their coach.
Yeah, a lot of people like that. I think Jared probably likes it.
I'm a fan. I've always liked J.J. Redick.
Never coached anything.
No.
Now he's coaching the Lakers.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm rooting for him.
He's talked a lot of socks, so hopefully he backs it up.
Yeah. Just one other thing about the NBA Finals. Do you remember back in April when Corey was like gonna make a end of fantasy basketball season video and had like questions for us to answer?
Sort of.
One of them being, who do you think's gonna win the NBA Finals? I have the receipt. On April 18th, I told Corey that the Celtics were going to win. And I was right.
Nice.
And I can prove that I said it too, so.
I don't know if I ever answered that text.
I think that's part of why he never did the video. Probably just didn't get enough. Because I got back to him like way later than I should have on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just the fact that I knew the Celtics were going to win back in April.
Mm-hmm.
Feels good. to be smart.
Nice.
In other sporting news, hockey is doing its best right now to put on a show for the world.
Yeah. Canada versus Florida.
Canada versus Florida. Florida went up 3-0 in the series, about to clinch their first ever Stanley Cup. And now, 3 games since then, the series is tied 3-3. Like, what? Like, that's just wild. No, I don't think any team's ever come back from a 3-0 deficit.
I think the Bruins did it a few years, like, in recent history. But maybe nobody had done it before that.
Okay. That's possible.
Yeah. McAfee, Darius Butler, huge Florida Panthers fan.
Yeah.
Just sweating bullets.
I mean, at this point now, I think the money's got to be on Edmonton for Game 7.
Do you know if it's in Florida or Canada?
I think it's in Florida.
Okay.
But that hasn't mattered. Like, well, I guess...
I haven't watched any of these games.
I've had them on, like, on side screens, but it's not like I pay full attention to them.
You know if Game 7 is Sunday or Monday?
It's Monday.
Okay.
I looked that up this morning. But, I mean, if I was on the Panthers, like, I'm shook. Like, like we were sure we had the Stanley Cup in our hands for three different tries. Like,
yeah.
And they couldn't get it done.
It's like, what happened? You know? It's like, did somebody, like, try to get clout by saying, you know, that the Panthers are going to win, assuming that because they're 3-0 they would definitely win, and then sort of, like, jinxed them?
I mean, I'm sure someone said that.
Maybe somebody was, like, a huge audience from having been in, like, a prominent position of power for, like, 4 years. I think maybe there's some bad juju from a specific individual that maybe doesn't love America as much as he pretends to.
First I thought you were talking about McAfee, but now I know you're not talking about McAfee because McAfee loves America.
He does love America. He's a good American. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully Florida, for the sake of American pride, pulls it out. Edmonton, I'm sure, is a great place, and somewhere Canada.
They're almost, I was looking it up, and it's like the second furthest distance between two teams in a major sport played within the U.S. or North America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's tied. Or it's not tied. There's some people tied for first. But I think Miami and Vancouver.
That checks out.
That's the furthest distance, but Edmonton's just like right here. So.
What is it called? Is that Alberta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Edmonton, Alberta. So it's like 2,550 miles from Edmonton to Miami. And Vancouver, it's almost 2,800.
Yeah, that's like, I know where Toronto... I know where that is. Saskatchewan and Manitoba, I know where those are. But Edmonton is not one I was familiar with.
Yeah, it's way up. It's like the furthest northern city in Canada that's like a major city.
Montreal, that's what I was thinking.
Montreal. And then, yeah. Can you name all the Canadian provinces?
No, because I think one of them has a weird name. Like, what's the furthest north one that is, like, all indigenous?
Nunavut.
Yeah.
And that's the only weird one. The rest of these I know pretty decent. Like, I know Northwest Territories because I used to watch Ice Pilots, and that's where they operated out of. Then you got British Columbia's West Coast, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, and then Newfoundland and Labrador. And then Nunavut.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten none of it, and I don't think I would have got Northwest Territories either. I would have thought that was. Calgary. Yeah, Calgary.
No, Calgary's in Alberta as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Canada.
I want to go there someday to see Banff National Park.
Bro, that's like what I want to see. Shut up.
Bro.
The Fairmont Banff Springs, I think it is,
Mm-hmm.
a hotel that's up there in like the national park. It looks to be like the greatest hotel ever known to man.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just looks so beautiful. I feel like I've talked about it before.
Probably not the hotel, but we've definitely talked about Banff before.
But here, let me pull up a picture of this place. And Fairmont Banff Springs. Has real, almost like The Shining vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this huge, fancy place just up in the mountains and the pines. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, much alike.
But like this is like where rich people go.
Mm-hmm.
These are like $2,000 a night rooms.
Oh yeah, it's too much.
Someday I'd like to be able to stay like a night there or something.
Mm-hmm. Let's aim for Leavenworth, Washington first.
Bro, I want to go there so bad. I want to go there a lot of places so bad. Speaking of going places, well, at some point I want to double click into this Leavenworth thing because you've brought it up more times than me in the recent past. So
Yeah, I
I
wanna
feel
go
like
do
you're
that.
actually interested in it.
Yeah, I do an Oktoberfest there specifically.
So let's get serious looking into that at some point. But in other travel news,
Mm-hmm.
I might be making a trip out to Denver here in the not too distant future.
Cool. To see a customer?
No, only because just last night I finally got my invite to get tickets to Casa Bonita. I'd signed up 10 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
more than 10 months ago, on the waiting list to get my chance to get tickets to go to Casa Bonita in Denver. And just last night, I got the email saying it's time. And I think there's like a 90-day window from when you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I saw that the link is good for 2 months, but then I think you can schedule another month after that if you use it on the last day.
Okay.
So I have time. But
that means presumably folks, like, we should be seeing more video and pictures of, like, what the modern Casa Bonita experience is now, right?
I've seen a bit.
Is it?
I recently read an article, and this guy is like a theme park blogger, mostly. Mm-hmm. And he went and he said it was like the greatest restaurant of all time. He was blown away. It's like Disney quality. Like it feels like it should be in a Disney park. Like that's how good they got everything dialed in.
Excellent.
And said the cliff diving was awesome.
Excellent.
It's finally now, because for a while not every part of it was open. Like they started having customers before every single little individual thing was open. Now it's completely wide open. Like Black Bart's Cave is going. There's like puppet shows. There's the cliff diving. There's all this different stuff, and it sounds amazing. I mean, the food's not supposed to be all that great, but you don't go there for the food. You go there for the experience. And like Denver's is like the cheapest place pretty much to fly to from here, so I can get plane tickets pretty cheap, and then just get a cheap hotel for a night or two. Just hop over, get some Casa Bonita, come back. Because I don't want to not use my ticket. Because, I mean, who knows how long it'll be before, if they ever, like, just open to the general public where you can just like anybody can make a reservation.
Mm-hmm.
But I was reading recently, like within the last month, I saw an article about Casa Bonita, and they're saying their wait list is still like 600,000 people long.
Mm-hmm.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
But it's because like people like me would just like fly from another state just to have one meal at a restaurant.
Are you going to do it before the end of summer, it sounds like?
I don't know. I just gotta dig in and figure out exactly when the best time would be. And then if I want to spend any more time there, then I'd have to, and just look at the budgeting of it all. Find when the cheaper tickets are. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking maybe in August. I don't know. It's still, this is all very fresh. A lot to think about.
Yeah.
But I might do it.
Okay, 98% joking. Commissioners meeting.
I mean, I love where your head's at. I absolutely love where your head's at.
I don't see it happening.
I don't either. But still, the fact that it could happen, like, we have the ability to make it happen. I mean, I asked Jared if he would want to go with me, and he didn't seem too interested in it.
That's surprising.
Well, I think also because... So I said I was thinking maybe in August, and then in September he goes on his ultimate adventure, so I don't know if it's because it's so close to that, or if he already just feels like he's spent his travel budget for the year. Which is understandable, because his trip is not cheap.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. I'm going to save one of the things that I want to talk about for next time, just because of time. But one thing time-based that I have to talk about is Juneteenth and summer solstice.
Yep, those things happened.
And we haven't talked about the weather.
Nope.
Amazing weather, I think. It got hot for all of like 10 days and then cooled down again. We were getting the soft landing into summer that like hasn't happened in 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's ramping up. Like, it's slowly getting there. Like,
very slowly. I feel like we got a taste of it last week, but it didn't, like 96 was the high.
I mean, we were starting to get it this week, but then we started getting some bans from some of those tropical things going on in the Gulf. Because what was it? Was it Wednesday or whatever? There was a day this week where like it rained, like it was raining for like hours, but it wasn't like hard rain. It was like you could like I could tell it's that like it was like hurricane rain. Like it wasn't super hard. There wasn't storms, but it was just continuous falling of rain.
Pretty sure that was Wednesday.
And that definitely cooled us down quite a bit. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully, if we can keep getting rain like this, that's definitely helping us out. And this is supposed to be like the most active storm season in the Gulf in like a long time. So maybe we'll get some more of that thrown up our way. But
my lawn's still green, which it has not been this deep in the summer the whole time we've been here. Juneteenth itself, you're supposed to like eat red food and a red drink, and we had our red drinks and had spaghetti and sausage. So we had our red food.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah. I posted on Facebook a story about Grandma Opal Lee, who 85 years after a racist mob drove her from her home in DFW, she was gifted a house, like on the same block, I guess. So that's there's a famous MLK speech that has the line, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." And I thought that was a nice little bow on that. But that was Juneteenth, and then summer solstice has always been a big deal for Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Like ever since she was a kid, and when she finished work, we went out for a walk, like with the binoculars to go see birds and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And did that, came home, and then in our backyard, we planted sunflowers willy-nilly. But then other than that, I'll put a picture of this with this podcast, but similar to how you guys have like a rectangular patch that you don't mow,
Mm-hmm.
the shed in the backyard, everything past that we don't mow. So like sunflowers came up and they're really cool, but then just like a bunch of different wildflowers that we didn't plant or anything showed up back there, and I had mowed the yard Tuesday, so it's like nice and flat and uniform, and then you hit the back of the yard and it's just like a wild meadow basically.
Mm-hmm.
So we hung out there. We planted 2 trellises on the fence, one to grab the vines that are growing on the other side, like our neighbors, and have those like come over ours so that we have that on trellis. And I thought it would take till the end of summer for the vines to like take it over, and it was like 1 week. And they're still like baby vines, but it's like pretty much all over is covered, and now it's just filling in. And then the other trellis, we planted blackberries in the ground, and then the blackberries supposed to grow up and connect to the trellis as they get taller. But blackberries is something that my grandpa, affectionately known as Big Man, has a big blackberry thing in the backyard, and I was happy to grow those. And then after this, I'm picking up our HEB order, which includes a thing of dirt. I took strawberries, I skinned them, I dried them out in the fridge, and then the seeds that are on the skin just pop right out. So I've got like hundreds of seeds. I'm gonna plant those and try and grow strawberries in the backyard. Yeah. So that's. Oh, so while we were looking at the backyard, it started to. It was on the way back from the bird watching. A little bit of rain had come down, and it was still like 7:30, so like full sunlight. Like sun is like low on the horizon, and you're just seeing like droplets of rain come down. It was like really, really like magical looking, and that was cool. And then didn't really rain. Just looked like a little bit of sprinkle, and then we get in the backyard, and then it does start to rain, and got to do the whole like grab each other's hands and run inside from the rain. That was nice. Just a nice week, having come all the way back from COVID and get to celebrate Juneteenth and summer solstice. It was a good week, and other than COVID, a good couple weeks.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do I have anything else I wanted to say?
You've been flying around the world.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I just broke $300 in Flight Simulator.
Mm-hmm. Like in air hours or like in game hours?
In air hours.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. Gonna keep flying. Today I'm going from, I'm gonna try to get from Myanmar to Japan.
Whoop.
We'll see if I can get that far, though. I don't know if I'll have enough time. I tried to get a flight in before you got here today, but just the distances and the timing, because I'm in a kind of place where there's not a ton of airports around, so I can't just... I have to kind of know where I'm going. The place I needed to go was a little too far, but we'll get in the air here shortly after I get some stuff done. Get back to it.
With the end of UFL, which the Birmingham Stallions destroyed the San Antonio Brahmas, we don't have like afternoon entertainment anymore because we also don't watch a lot of baseball. Maybe WNBA will start to fill in some of that, but this will be the first weekend that like Ash will do like writing exercises at the same time that I'm playing Final Fantasy VII. So that'll be fun to read.
Don't forget we got the Euros are going on right now.
Oh, the Euros?
Along with Copa America.
Copa America is soccer.
So are the Euros.
Okay.
It's the big area tournaments right now. All of Europe's playing for the best of Europe, and then we're playing for the best of the Americas. U.S. plays I think Belize tomorrow.
Alright, fuck those guys up.
We're supposed to win, but this is going to be a very telling year for the state of U.S. soccer.
Is it men's and women's or just men's?
I think just men's.
Okay. Who are you rooting for in Europe?
Germany.
I'm going Croatia.
That's fair.
And
Let's see what matches are on today. Because that's something you can watch. That's all afternoon stuff. The Euros are.
no, I'm gonna play video games.
You have more than one screen.
Yeah, I do have a lot.
Who's playing? Today we got Portugal, Turkey, Romania, Belgium. So this is weird. So it says earlier today, Czechia played Georgia, but I'm pretty sure Georgia is also in Copa America for some weird reason.
That is weird. I wouldn't even think Chechnya or Georgia would count as Europe.
All right, we can probably go ahead and end this. This isn't a very riveting conversation, but I'm just trying to make sure I'm not absolutely crazy here.
Georgia.
Yeah, maybe I am. All right.
Georgia.
Thank y'all for listening. Have a great, wonderful day. We'll talk to you next week. And, yep, thank you.
Take care, guys. Bye.
In a cabin up high where the pines whisper low, with the woman I love, where the wildflowers grow. We play our mountain music where the rivers run free. In the heart of the mountains, just her and me. Mountain music under the stars, playing our guitar with our hearts ajar, passing down song where love never ends, creating memories like old mountain friends. By the campfire's glow, with the night all around, our voices rise up, the sweetest sound, strumming chords to the rhythm of the trees, singing in memories like the perfect harmony. Mountain music under the stars, playing our guitar with our hearts ajar, passing down songs where love never ends, creating memories like old mountain friends. Every note tells a story of days long past, of lovers and legends that forever last. With every strum, our hearts entwine in this mountain serenade, love divine. From dusk till dawn, we play and we sing, echoing through the hills, let the melodies ring. In the glow of the fire, her eyes shine bright. In this mountain music, everything's right. Mountain music under the stars, playing our guitar with our hearts ajar, passing down songs where love never ends, creating memories like old mountain friends. In the mountain air, hold on tight. In this timeless tune, our spirits blend. Mountain music with my lover and friend. In the mountain air, our love takes flight. With every song, we hold on tight. In this timeless tune, our spirits blend. Mountain music with my lover and friend.